So in a sense, the story you're telling, which I think would be consistent with, many people, and I share your pessimism overall about the future of the Chinese economy, but basically that its institutions are going to limit the extent to which market energies or private energies are able to be harnessed for economic development in China, and certainly party control is the preeminent goal. I've basically written the same, but yet what we see in China, even at the current moment, right, is almost, what I would call, just being very contemporary about it, almost a bimodal economy, or two types of economy. So one, this household, local government debt, deflationary spiral, even fiscal crisis at the central level, unless Christine corrects us tomorrow. And on the other hand, DeepSeek, EVs, right? And all of that may be characterized by, the Chinese term 内转, involution. On the other hand, there's tremendous competitive energies, tremendous levels of innovation. And so I wonder how you see that pessimistic cycle and the optimistic cycle appearing side by side, and how that might play out politically. I have my own views, but I wanted to provoke you there. That's my first point.
Okay, so here, so what happened in this recent 2 years? When we talked about this, the reversal, the peak of the reversal was around 2018, 2019, or 2020. So that was the peak. And the peak actually didn't mean to be the peak. The peak was what the Chinese Communist Party intended to do. But then they run into deep troubles. So when they run into deep troubles, they were desperate to find a solution. And one of the solutions, a key idea, was to promote R&D, promote high tech, promote EVs, things like that. Turns out almost all of these were in private sector. Mm-hmm. That is the reason. So not because they changed their mind to support the private sector. Instead, they were desperate in R&D, and then they found that that's the only option they have. So then they have to do that. But at the same time, we also have to make it clear about how important those sectors are compared with the Chinese economy. Mm-hmm. So in terms of a percentage, those sectors, in terms of percentage, are very small. So there's no impact to the Chinese economy. But those indeed have huge impacts psychologically.
Mm-hmm. I think the main way in which they have very little impact on the Chinese economy is that it doesn't drive employment for people. The robots make the EVs, and the robots make the robots.
Yeah, because they only wanted to have been on the frontier in R&D. Mm-hmm. And they have a wrong interpretation of a TFP, the total factor productivity. Sure. They thought the TFP is determined solely by technological progress. They didn't understand that the TFP, particularly for China, the major part of the TFP comes from the institution, from the management, not from technology alone, since China is still a developing economy.